Hi, I'm Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
So we're here. It is episode 6 of the How to Meet Your Idols, which means we're halfway through the challenge. I don't know if we're in a positive or a negative as far as where we think we are in compared to where we really wanted to be. But I think we need to find out how we've got on since we were here last week. So Andy, we're going to go check in with you, and we're going to find out what Andy was up to for the last week.
Hi, this is Andy. Just thought I'd give you a quick update regarding how I'm getting on with meeting my idols. David recently created adkmusic.com emails for myself and Kirk, which looks a little bit more professional, shows we mean business. So what I did with that was, again, messaged Barney Greenway's management company in Germany, because they didn't respond to my first email and my chaser email. So we'll see how we'll get on with that. I've also devised some questions and discussion points for my upcoming chat with Liv Kristine. That's going to be in hopefully a few weeks. Had a bit of a sleepless night, just woke up, had some ideas, jotted them down. So I'll revisit that and sort of clarify exactly what I'm going to speak to her about. I've also asked a friend of mine who's also a big fan as to whether he had any ideas as well. So I'll hopefully get something from him as well. And this evening, finally, got round to approaching Aaron Stainthorpe, vocalist of My Dying Bride. I am Facebook friends with him, as are thousands of other people, but I chanced my luck, sent him a message through Facebook Messenger, introduced myself, explained what we're doing, and saying I'd like to have an interview with him, a chat for our project. So fingers crossed, see how we get on with that. Catch you later.
Wow, so you've made some progress, but very productive, Andy. And I can see finally you've decided to contact Aaron Stainthorpe. So what are your expectations with that?
Well, I'm hoping it's going to be positive. Cause that would be the ultimate one on my list that I'd like to speak to. I think it'd be the one I'd be most comfortable with, being most familiar with his band's music and everything. I still don't know why I've left it till the last one, because it's probably the easiest person to approach, the easiest method via Facebook Messenger and everything, being what appears to be his own personal account on there that I'm in contact with. So yeah, I'm hopeful. It'll be absolutely amazing if I get something positive. His message has yet been read, so we'll see how we get on. And then if that sort of draws a blank, I'll be sort of asking you perhaps the another route in. It may well be that it's going to be the same route as the other bands, management companies, PR companies.
Can I just ask, Dave Tattum, so I went looking for the music when he was in the band with Angel Witch. Is there some kind of dispute about the master tapes with whatever label released it? Because nothing seems to be on Deezer other than that debut album. And then when they got back together and released that album, when was it, 2018, 19?
Yeah.
I can't find any music to stream with him as the frontman in the band.
On YouTube's your best bet, but I think as we may have discussed before, there's Kevin Hayborn, Angel Witch founder, for whatever reason, has kind of shone that period of the band's history. I think it's their best material. It's certainly my favourite material. It's different from the Angel Witch debut, certainly different from what they've released over the last few years. Although, in the sort of Kevin Hayborn's defence, he has taken and sort of reworked at least 3 of the songs from those Dave Tattum albums into songs that are on Age of Light and As Above, So Below. So he obviously doesn't dislike them that much. The titles have changed, the structure has changed slightly, but the lyrics have come across from those original songs. But you won't find one on the streaming services, which is a real shame, because I'd be listening to them more often than I do.
Yeah, you mentioned Liv Kristine as well, and I'll be joining you on that interview. So I've been listening to Theatre of Tragedy on repeat, especially the 1996 and the 1998 album. And yeah, I think I'm getting a bit nervous now about interviewing her. We're talking about arguably the most influential female singer in metal of the 1990s.
As time goes on, I'm discovering more and more collaborations that she's been in and sort of guest appearances. We we recently done a reaction video to the Swiss folk metal band that begins with E.
MFT. Yeah.
She was one time, I found out very recently she was, Liv was a one-time vocalist for them. So she's done a huge range of material for me to sort of research and look into before the interview.
That's going to be a high point for me, as somebody who reviews music and interviews bands. You're right, she is an absolute legend, a towering influence, and a real, you would say, wouldn't you, her and obviously Annika from The Gathering, they were at the forefront, weren't they, really, of where you had female vocalists in really dark, often heavy, gothic oriented music. So yeah, she really is a pioneer, and I think that's what's making me a bit nervous when we come to interview her.
Yeah, set the standard, and many have followed and tried to to live up to her expectation, her standard of vocals that she brings to all these fantastic bands that she's involved in, and her own solo material, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, well done on that. It's you're making more progress than me. Do you want, Dave?
Fingers crossed on that. It's not 100% set in stone, but I'm going to prepare for it.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going to be doing it in December.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck, hopefully, for that one. So. me for that one. So I guess it's time to find out what I got to this last week then. Hey there. Okay, so we're now at week 6 of How to Meet Your Idols, and it's kind of like, so we're at the halfway point, and it's starting to get to me now. It is actually starting to get to me. It's there's only so much you can do. You can keep pushing and pushing and pushing. You kind of hope that with the pushing of like sending the multiple messages, eventually you'll kind of tick them through. And what to me has become apparent is people are on social media sites. They're obviously on emails, but they have no interest unless you're a big channel. So no one's going to do anything for anyone unless it's of benefit to them, and I get that. That's fair enough. I mean, every decision you make when you're doing a YouTube channel, you do with the idea of what's in it for you. Even if you're in a way saying that you're doing something for someone else, you're still in the back of your head going, well, what's the benefit for you to do it? If there's no benefit whatsoever, you're not going to, and that's where I think we're at with a lot of the musicians and PR companies that we're approaching. Is they're looking at it going, you're a small YouTube channel, you haven't got a lot of followers, why would we want to put our artists through that and waste their time just so that they're not going to get anything beneficial out of it, and you might get benefit out of it, but what's the point? And I think we're at that kind of stage now, so it's I haven't given up, but I find it harder to maintain motivation to go after it. I mean, there has been a couple of changes I have decided to make this week. So we've set up, or I've set up for the other guys and myself, ADK Music email addresses. And the idea here was, previously we've been messaging these artists from our personal email accounts, so other Google accounts or Yahoo accounts, and when it's just kind of like davidbrett45788@yahoo.co.uk, then it doesn't look very professional. So I thought, well, what would be better would be to set up email addresses for all of us under ADK Music, get some logo things done, and then reapproach them under the ADK Music banner instead of under the David Brett banner. For that to work, I've obviously had to set up Facebook pages, setting up Instagram sites, Twitter accounts, and pushing some videos out from the channel to sort of showcase what we're doing. And then we will get some. I'm going to reapproach everyone in the coming week. Still have heard nothing back from PSI Records, which is really frustrated. They kind of give you that little bit of hope that you might have that interview, and then nothing whatsoever. So I've got more to chase, but I feel like the Instagram route is basically dead. There's no point going down the route of Instagram that much at the moment because they're not, just no one's getting back to me on it. But I haven't given up completely. I'm just going to do a change of tact and go down the route of an official ADK Music channel, and hopefully I might get some better results this coming week. So that's my plan for week 6 into week 7. Okay, so yeah, I basically set up the Instagram, I set up the Facebook page, I set up the email accounts. I haven't actually done much with the email account from my end as far as actually sending emails out, apart from using it as a couple of contacts with the PR company for Robb, Flynn, and Sully, Erna. I did send lots of messages. I sent 2 messages to each of the people on Instagram. The first one was basically a repeat of the initial message I sent from my personal Instagram, but with also a little adage saying you may have had this email before, this message before, from my personal Instagram account, just so they didn't think it was a spam one, and had nothing back on it. So I then my frustration kind of got to me at this point as if the week got on, and I got to the end and I thought, do you know what, sod it, and got to Instagram and went, oi, do you want to have an interview or what?
Who did you send that to? Who did you send that to? Don't say you sent that to Robb Flynn.
Not quite as blunt as that, but I did just say.
Appreciate that.
I just was like, yeah, any chance you'll do an interview for my YouTube channel? I just kind of literally was like, rather, I'm going to go down the route of, rather than a really wordy one, I'm now just going blunt with the things, because I'm like, I'm getting annoyed that I'm not even getting a response saying we're not interested. That's the thing that I found the most frustrating about this, is that PR companies, and if a lot of these bigger guys on like the Instagram sites and stuff like that will have people that will manage through a PR company, and you would think that they would look at it and go not interested and just send you a message going not interested, especially if you've sent them multiple messages asking about it, chasing about it. And that's what's starting to annoy me more about it. And it'll be really interesting if we get to week 12 and when these videos eventually do come out we find out about, we get to week 12 and we're like, God damn, I hate Robb Flynn, he's an asshole. What response to me on Instagram? But it's one of those ones, because you know that these people are using social media. We know that they're on Instagram, we know that they're on Facebook, and you're messaging them and you're not even getting that like, you're not something we're interested in doing, we don't have the time. I wouldn't mind that, because then you can almost put it to bed. But right now you're just sending variations of the same messages over and over, trying to go down that route. I'm trying it through the PR company. They have the only way to get hold of this PR company that I can find so far is through a contact form on their PR webpage. So I'm just constantly filling those in and sending them off, but just getting nothing back from there. And then the PSI records for JS Clayden are just not responding to my emails anymore. So even though they had been interested in getting the questions in advance and checking out the format we were going to do, send it all over, and then just nothing back now. And I'm again kind of thinking, well, if it's not something you want to do, you've read the questions, you're like, do you know what? We're not interested in doing it. Just tell me. It's a common courtesy. And that's kind of where I'm at kind of six weeks into this. Kind of feeling like it's just good manners in a way. I mean, I know they're big metal stars and stuff like that, but
I got a polite enough reply from Steve Harris's or Iron Maiden's publicity company saying no, basically. You know, yeah. Steve didn't do interviews for the previous album with anybody anywhere in the world, so he won't be interested in your project, but thank you for your inquiry, you know, but at least you know. At
least you can kind of go, well, I've tried it. You might try something later on just as an off chance, or like on a personal message on his personal page. But for now, you're like, at least that main route, you know, has been blocked. So I don't know. I'm going to see what I can do over the next week. I mean, it's also been a bit of a challenging week with a lot of video editing, a lot of YouTube channel stuff to do, which has kind of meant that I haven't done as much maybe as I could have to actually spend some quality time like emailing people. I think the Instagram was an easy thing that I could do on my phone to kind of go, let me throw some Instagram messages out and see what happens. So I need to put some quality time in, which I'm hoping I'll have a bit more time to do. Although saying that, we've got gigs tomorrow that we're going to, so which will have been 4 months ago when this comes out. So yeah, we had gigs 4 months ago that we went
Halloween
to.
Halloween gig with Ritual headlining, Scarlet Envy, Jackal's Backbone, and Nomadic Rain.
Nomadic Rain, never heard of them. Who are they?
And we always mention this place called Club 85. Just to clarify for our viewers, that's in a town called Hitchin in Hertfordshire, which is in the southeast of England on the commuter belt to London.
And we'll get to speak to the guys from Nomadic Rain tomorrow, which will be great. And we'll get to check them out live. Put some footage up on the channel. That'll be good.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Depending on the tardiness of some of our members, it may be me in the interview room, but we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to the show very much.
Excellent. Right.
much.
Excellent. Right, should we go find out how Kirk then got on last week?
Spencer Sotelo. I'll be honest, I've not really done much in terms of tracking down any of my idols over the last 10 days. But I did get a lead from Adam Segura at the Noise Cartel on Spencer Sotelo of Periphery, and he's given me an email address and yet another company to contact called Fly South Music Group. So I'm on their website here, which is a minimalist website, and they've got two options: contact and frequently asked questions. So some of the frequently asked questions for this company are, will Fly South manage me? So I think that explains that they are a management company that handle Periphery and have them on their roster. I'm a freelance photographer. Can I get a photo pass to shoot a show? Useful. My friend is terminally ill. Can you connect them with their favourite band or do something special? Interesting. They've put, we do work with a couple of great charities who accommodate these requests when possible. Please contact them for more info. Now, I know I'm desperate to try to secure an interview with Spencer Sotelo, but I think that would be unethical, pretending that I'm terminally ill and then going through the intermediary of a charity for them to arrange something. So we're going to have to rule that one out. Can I propose, dedicate a song, ask to prom, etc. during a band set? Okay, ignore that. Employment opportunities, internships. When will my favourite band come to town? How do I get in touch with a band for publicity purposes? Please email your request to press@flysouthmusic.com. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so I've got the name of the person. Adam kindly pointed me in this direction. The gentleman is called Wayne. So I've just put, dear Wayne and team, given him a background as to who I am. I've mentioned that Adam of the Noise Cartel PR company in England recommends that I contact them, give them the breakdown or the summary of what we're doing in this documentary. I've also included a rough draft of episode 4. Still going to need some work on that, but I think that should give them an idea from a visual perspective and also the quality of the content. So I just put at the end, I know Periphery are not in campaign at the moment, but I would be grateful if you could pass on my request to Spencer. So let's just go over what we've done here. We've used 3 Dot Recordings, Periphery's label, no response. Endure, his band's Facebook page, that's Spencer's side project, no response. Gone through the front of house sound engineer for Periphery, understandably no response. And we went through, obviously the Noise Cartel have said the Periphery are not in campaign at the moment, try these. So I've been batted back to the American management company. I don't think they are a PR company, so this might actually be more promising. So let's just check we've got everything on here. Yes, let's send it. Interview with Spencer Sotelo. Send. Okay. Time to do some research now on some of the other idols, but at least I've done something productive, and I've got something on the board in terms of activities for. Let's discuss the topic of anxiety. Maybe I'm exaggerating things here. I don't mean the anxiety that the tempo of modern life is too intense, or the pressures are too inhumane, or the civilization that I live in is always going to work against me and crush me like a termite. I don't mean it in that sense. I'm just thinking of the sense of anxiety that this project, when I first envisaged it, I thought was going to be fun. I thought it was going to generate plenty of leads, plenty of investigative opportunities. And naively, I assumed that if you can find out who the contact is, the PR agent for these legendary musicians, then you can just arrange an interview. And of course, the main obstacle to that is when you reach those people and they say they're not available for interviews. What do I do? This was a sales job. I would have to overcome that objection. I'd have to finally balance my needs to achieve my objective without alienating or indeed annoying those people, the gatekeepers who hold access to those that I need to speak to and want to interview as part of the challenge for the documentary series. So where am I at the moment? I'm essentially just sending emails with no hope of ever getting a response. So I'm going to do it one more time, and then I am going to have to take a fresh approach over the next 2 weeks, especially for Mike Patton and Robert Smith. So let's go with Greg Puciato. Let's actually do one more blitz, if you can call 2 emails a blitz. So you're probably aware Greg is also in an experimental synth pop band, progressive synth pop, ambient electronica, however you want to call it, called The Black Queen. And it's easy to find their email address. Again, though, the other band members might just think, he is a music journalist, he is a fan, he is a nobody who is trying to get in contact with our famous lead singer. And if it goes to one of those, I would understand why they would ignore that. But when there's already little hope, even just doing something feels like it's helping me to continue with my objectives. So the first one, let's send the interview request to info@theblackqueen.com, usual spiel. Have I got my signature on it? Yeah. There we go. So we're going to send that. And then the other one, I'm going to resend a message on Greg's Bandcamp page. I can't include URL links on that, so I've had to shorten it, which might be a good thing because it might be more succinct. He's already had one, so I'm hoping that the etiquette that I've discovered so far with people in the industry is you send them one email if you've got no high profile, if you're not really known in the world of media, if you don't have a large circulation of sales, or in the modern age, large number of followers on social media, then the gatekeepers in the PR sector, rightly so, they're going to be thinking, what value will my client get from this? If he gives you his time, his valuable time, what exposure can you give to him? I don't know if it is a trade-off like that, a zero-sum approach, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. So let's send the Bandcamp one, confirm I'm not a robot. We're going to send the message to Greg. So we've used Bandcamp to go to him directly, and also the Black Queen email address, which I imagine booking agents will go through. Yeah, like you, Dave, the main emotion is frustration. So like you said, we're on episode 6, so we're halfway through this, and I'm sending emails now, and I just know I'm not going to get anything back. And I don't necessarily, should I be annoyed with the artist? No, I don't think so. I mean, this is a challenge. The whole idea of this is, how easy is it to arrange an interview with your musical idols? And with the likes of Steve Harris and Robert Smith and Rob Flynn on there, we're talking about big names, big personalities, icons of their musical genres. So I knew it was going to be difficult, but with Periphery, I did get a good lead from the UK publicist. I've gone to the management company in America. Do you know, I'm not expecting a response though. I just know, that's not me being pessimistic, like you, Dave. I'm banging my head against the brick wall here, so I'm going to have to come up with another way. I don't know how. I keep saying, if this was a sales job, I would not pass the probation and would be fired. You know, it feels like there's more chance of getting fucking Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan, on the phone to sell him life insurance than there is to arrange an interview with Spencer Sotelo of Periphery. So
yeah,
that's the way I feel right now.
It's very challenging.
So frustration. And I'm like you, because we've got other things, you know, I need to make sure that I'm maintaining my output of 8 reviews a week for Screen Blast Repeat. So that involves listening to an album 3 times. Then I've got, you know, I do a 700-word review, got all the administration of that. And I've deliberately put this off over the last 2 weeks. And I don't even want to think about what I'm going to do to get Robert Smith and Mike Patton on board. Unlike you, I have had a response, and it's just, oh, we'll put you on file very politely. They're not doing interviews. It's like, Now, if I was contacting you from The Guardian or The Rolling Stone, I think the answer would be yes, because Mike Patton has given 2 interviews to those global publications. And hey, you know, why should I expect to be at the front of any queue when we're talking about these distinguished names in media? But he is giving interviews, and Dead Cross, his current band with Dave Lombardo of Slayer on drums, have got an album coming out Friday the 28th of October. So how can they say he's not doing press? It might just be that the sheer demand, and they're going to want their client to be giving interviews that's got a wide exposure. They're not going to get that with us at the moment. We don't have the same clout as Loudwire, do we?
No, not at all.
You know, Metal Sucks, anything like that. never mind Rolling Stone and The Guardian and the highbrow publication. So Greg Puciato, as you can see there in that clip, I've found his other band, and I just sent an email to them. They'll ignore it because they'll be thinking, oh, you only want to get in contact with Greg, you don't listen to our music in the Black Queen. And then I went through his Bandcamp page. Bandcamp, it's one of those contact us forms. I don't know whether to expect something or not there.
They do send the emails. I've had people contact us on my old bands, and it goes into my email account, so it goes somewhere. Whether the emails are still live, and I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't want to be in that position where I'm having to contact other musicians who I might have networked with in the past. Oh, by the way, can you get me an interview with Spencer Sotelo? No, I haven't listened to your new album. It's just like you said, manners and etiquette. You don't want to be doing that. That is desperation.
Well, we may get to that stage where desperation becomes a factor right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, right, we know what we've all got some challenges ahead of us, and hopefully we can have some positives for next week. Who knows? But that's it for this episode. But before we go, we're going to have an interview with Carl from Black Skull Ritual.
Hi, I'm Andy.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Kirk.
We're here today to talk to Carl from Black Skull Ritual. Round of applause.
Hello, how are you? All right?
Hello.
Hi, Carl. I'm going to throw this straight over to Kirk. He's got all our questions. I know Andy's got a few knocking around there as well. So, Kirk, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, actually, Carl, do you want to just tell our viewers a bit about Black Skull Ritual, when you formed, what kind of music, how you would describe it, and then who your influences are, and then we can pick it up from there, if that's all right with you?
Well, Black Skull Ritual, we've been around for I think as we are now for about since 2016. Originally just started off the pair of us doing kind of drone doom in the rehearsal room, and basically the sort of a name Black Skull Ritual comes from just the Black Skull part, and the ritual part was a bit of a ritual away from our jobs and everything else, and just kind of lock yourself in the rehearsal room for a few hours and just kind of get all your frustrations out and drone out and turn the lights off and just, forget about all the worries and bills and everything else that life has to throw at you. So that's where it come from. With regards to sort of like the changes, we basically started with a drone thing, and then I just kept coming out with more punky riffs, and it's kind of like, and I haven't got loads of patience, so trying to keep songs as short as possible. So what we were doing with the drone stuff wasn't kind of fitting into that. So then eventually we started to go down the route we're probably at now. Everything's a lot shorter, a little bit more punkier, and a little bit more in your face, and a little bit more shoutier as well. So
right,
that's where it comes from.
Yeah, do you know when I listened to that debut album 2018's The Frequency of Doom?
Yeah.
What comes through for me, and having spoken to your singer and bassist Baron Von Strange, I remember when I first met him after a gig, I was overhearing a conversation and he was talking about Voivod and Celtic Frost, and I was wearing a Celtic Frost t-shirt and he saw it. And then we soon realized we listened to a lot of the same stuff. And for our viewers, I would call your music really dirty, industrial crust metal. You're right about that. You are definitely punks playing metal, like in that electro hippies, Septic Tank, even like the early crust bands. Definitely can tell that. And you're right, shoutier vocals like Killing Joke. At what point, you said you started off as a drone band.
Yeah.
Why did you gravitate towards industrial from there?
Well, at a particular time, Baron was listening to lots of Godflesh and Acrophobic Nosebleed, and sort of some dub and Zig Zig Sputnik. So it kind of got more sort of put into the mix, really. And with some of the sort of punkier riffs I was coming out with, it kind of took us into a different avenue, really. So it's kind of went down that road, and it made us smile. So again, hopefully makes everybody else smile as well. But
yeah, I wonder if that will be the reaction when people listen to your music. I doubt it, because this is really deliberately ugly music, isn't it? Really hostile, but plenty of groove in there as well. Because I was listening to that song Corpse Meat.
Yeah.
And that is basically, like you say, you can definitely hear Godflesh in there, even a bit of Venom. But yeah, you can hear GBH in the Explain. The punk element really stands out, especially the snarl of the vocals as well. So you're really looking at some dark topics really in the music, aren't you? So you said it made you smile. What are you singing about in your songs? Is there a common theme?
There's lots of things. Obviously, a lot of death involved and everything like that, and loss and basically
Pain's mentioned quite a bit, isn't it?
Pain and injustice. Well, you know, especially with things going on in the world at the moment, just total injustice for everybody else. And it's just kind of a platform to shout about and get our frustrations out there, and hopefully everybody else can sort of join in that, venting that frustration as well.
Yeah, because even the electronics have a deliberate hooligan-esque texture to them, don't they, as well? Really over the top. You know, when you're using a drum machine, I know you do through your songs anyway, they're programmed, but you'll have these moments in there, almost like fills that are deliberately violent, like almost throbbing gristle, early Cabaret Voltaire type of music. When I put on your albums as well, I always think, Jesus, how loud is the bass guitar? How that is like a piece of throbbing gristle, to use that term. Yeah. Are you looking at the dashboard on the mixing desk and just seeing red bars at the decibel levels? How do you actually compress that and get that to sound so good and listenable on headphones?
It is pretty much kind of full on. I mean, sort of, yeah. I mean, if play it, nice volumes, everything's on as full as it possibly can be. And yeah, I think it just basically it kind of fits our sort of personalities and everything else, and just the frustrations we feel, and just sort of go for it, really.
Yeah, I see you did an EP as well, didn't you, last year? A remix EP, Schädelgeräusch.
Yeah.
What does that translate to from German to English?
Skull noise, basically.
What is it?
Skull noise.
Right. Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the? I know that two of them are explicitly remixes. Track number 1 on that EP sounds like a remix as well. Or was that you trying to be experimental, emphasizing the distorted bass and bringing the guitars down in the mix?
Not really. I think it's just kind of more of a sort of progression of what we've been sort of like coming up with, really. So yeah, it's just kind of more of a progression. I mean, we've also got one of our kind of droney tracks on that particular Decision in Hell, which is kind of a remix as well. So yeah, sort of threw it all in there, really. Sort of, you know, and a few live tracks as well on the CD. So
regarding Decision Made in Hell, when I think you released that as a single during the lockdown in 2020, and I was really pleased that you I think put out some new material. I love the track, but it's very, very different from what I was expecting. I thought, it's a long one. It's going to start kicking in. I'm going to hear some guitars in a minute, and it's going to be a classic Black Skull Ritual. But it's an excellent sort of throwback to your drone origins, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's where it sort of basically it come from, and it come back out again, sort of thing. So yeah, good old lockdown.
What's the next? What are your plans for the next record then? So the last full length you did was 2018. Are you already creating the next record?
Yeah, we're basically all the newer songs we've been playing live for about the last 18 months. We're basically going to record those. There's quite a few there, good spread. So they'll probably come out as singles and stroke EPs. As and when we come around to record them, I think sort of like record them and sort of get them out there when they're kind of fresh. Might be a few covers thrown in as well as kind of sort of B-sides as well. So that's always fun to kind of work out, what kind of covers to do and everything else. So
I can see you guys doing Public Image Limited, Pill.
Yeah.
Like that. Flowers of Romance era.
Yeah. I mean, sorry?
No, you first.
All right, okay. I think one of the bands we played with recently said, they said a bit of a, obviously mentioned Killing Joke and a bit of a Rammstein element as well. Obviously minus the fireworks, but we could work on that.
Yeah. No, definitely. Can we expect it to continue in that Godflesh direction? Because as Andy just said there, track number 1 on the Schedel Garage EP, you're right. It holds back, doesn't it? You're using drone textures on guitar, and the bass is offering more of the riff orientation, isn't it? What are you planning to ironically go back to your roots and incorporate that into the industrial soundscape?
I wouldn't have thought so at the moment. I mean, sort of some of the riffs I'm coming out with a minute is kind of still along the same sort of, I suppose, Black Skull Ritual kind of themes and everything else. But never say never.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, he lists you. I see you listed as a band from Southend-on-Sea, Essex. Clearly, you don't live there now because we know that you're in the Cambridgeshire area.
Yeah.
So, would you still say, does Baron Von Strange live in Essex, or is he? Yeah. So, how long have you known each other? I'm going to make a guess that you were punks and knew each other from back in the day.
Pretty much, yeah. We go back a long, long way. So yeah. So sort of all of our musical endeavour has always been involved with each other in whatever shape and form. I mean, we used to play in a sort of a punk metal band a few years back as well. So we've kind of always kind of done something. So
yeah. So
I was just going to say, Carl. I know you and Baron go back way back and played in bands together. Has there ever been a discussion or an opportunity or the idea of perhaps expanding the lineup? Real drummer, additional guitarist, anything like that, or is this your sound? Is this your style?
I mean, it has been discussed. The extra members and stuff, and then we still go back round to us two again. I think it's sort of like, we know how each other tick, and everything else. So I think it'd be interesting if someone else come into it. But I think for the time being, I think it'd be us two. I mean, it has been discussed about when we're recording new stuff, maybe have guest vocalists or guest musicians, from the local sort of scene, and sort of take it from there. But at the minute, it's just us two grumpy people.
There'd always be the new guy or the new girl, wouldn't they? Anybody who did join.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think anyone expecting your music to sound like the band on your T-shirt might be in for a surprise. Because Saxon does not come through with your music.
No.
There's a big gap, isn't there, between Saxon and Godflesh and Killing Joke.
Yeah.
But that's what's great. You like all the whole entire spectrum, don't you, of anti-authoritarian, anti-establishment, aggressive music. So I'm right in thinking that you probably grew up listening to bands like Crass. Were they a big influence on you?
Yeah, I mean, lots of different people. I mean, going back to school and stuff. People throwing, you see people in sixth form wearing early Metallica t-shirts, Megadeth, and you kind of go, "Ooh, what's all that about?" and everything else, and obviously Motorhead, and obviously things like that. And it's just kind of even sort of people wearing Cramps t-shirts, and these kind of all these different people and different influences. You're kind of thinking, give them all a listen, and it kind of into the big melting pot of life, really. So it's great, love it all.
Yeah. Just final question then. So we know that you play regular gigs on the scene, often St Albans, Cambridge, Hitchin. Which other towns and cities are you hoping to bring your live music to in the coming months, in the months ahead?
Yeah, well, London would be a good one. It'd be nice to play some gigs in London. That'd be really good. Maybe spread our wings a little bit up north as well. I've seen a few people play up near Birmingham and stuff, and having photographs taken from the Black Sabbath bench. That'd be quite nice to go up there, play a gig, and have a photograph taken on the bench as well. So that'd be
Spoken like a true person from Essex, calling Birmingham the north. You're speaking to a northerner. Trust me, Birmingham is not the north; it's the Midlands.
Come on, I'm a Londoner, so anything that's above Watford is the north.
Exactly.
To be honest, for us. Excellent. Right. Well, that's it for Carl for today from Black Skull Ritual. We just want to say a massive thank you for spending some time and talking to us today. Please make sure go check them out. Go buy their the album, the EP? Is it on? Is it on
2018
Bandcamp? Is it? Do you have it on anything like that?
Yeah, Spotify.
Bandcamp, go there. Spotify if you want to give them less money, but go Bandcamp and actually
Yeah,
buy it
Bandcamp,
and give them more
yeah.
money. It's much better. And if you've got any merch on there, go to Bandcamp and buy merch from them because it's also greatly appreciated for every band out there. Thank you very much for checking us out, and we will see you all on another video sometime very soon. Take care.